An Australian woman has miraculously given birth to conjurer twins with one body and two heads, despite doctors initially telling them to terminate the pregnancy. Renee Young and her partner, Simon Howie of Traeger in Sydney's West, welcomed their daughters on Thursday 6 weeks before they were due. The couple, who found out via an ultrasound that the twins they were expecting were in fact one child with two symmetrical faces and two brains connected by the one brain stem, said doctors were shocked by the girls' exceptional progress. Two girls in one body, Renee Young and her daughters Faith and Hope, who were born in a Sydney hospital on May 8. Faith and Hope were born with a rare condition called depositus, which means they share the same body and organs but have separate brains and two faces. Proud mother Faith and Hope are now in a stable condition and breathing without support after initial doubts. They're breathing perfectly on their own and feeding, Mr. Howie told Woman's Day. Ms. Young gave birth to the girls named Faith and Hope by an emergency cesarean at Blacktown Hospital last Thursday. The girls were born with a rare condition called depositus, which means that they share the same body and vital organs, but have their own faces and brains, which are connected by only one brain stem, even though there is only one body. We call them our twins, plus they are our girls and we love them, Mr. Howie said. They were transferred to the Children's Hospital at Westmead shortly after they were born. We have no idea how long they will be in the hospital. We just want to bring them home happy and healthy to make our family a little bit bigger and a bit more chaotic. Mr. Howie said Hope and Faith have their own brains, which are connected by only one brain stem. I think they're beautiful and Simon thinks they're beautiful, so really that's all that matters, her mother said. As the parents of 7 other children, Renee and her husband Simon Howie never considered terminating while the girls grew healthy. The condition is so rare that only 35 cases have ever been recorded and none have survived. Due to the incredibly complex nature of their condition, doctors are so unsure about what to expect from the twins' condition that they're being forced to make their prognosis day by day. Mr. Howe confirmed that specialists are being called in to decipher a range of problems and assess the twins in great depth, from the functioning of their lungs and blood vessels to decisions about how best to proceed with feeding. But despite all of the forewarned medical problems likely to come their way, Ms. Young and Mr. Howie are just happy their girls are alive and well. I think they're beautiful, said Simon. And he thinks they're beautiful, so really that's all that matters, Ms. Young told A Current Affair. Mr. Howie said, I sort of don't believe in terminating the baby if it's healthy and growing fine and everything is going to plan. Their mother, Renee, gave birth to the girls via an emergency cesarean. Their condition is so rare that only 35 cases have ever been recorded and none have survived from as early as 28 weeks into Ms. Young's pregnancy. Specialists were concerned about grave developmental issues. One of the biggest predicted survival risks from their doctor, Greg Caspi, was the babies would be unable to breathe on their own. The couple, who are parents to 7 other children, were also told early on in the pregnancy not to keep the child because it would be looked upon by the public as a freak. They defied the doctors because Miss Young had never terminated a pregnancy and because they had a family that gives us a lot of support at first. Things certainly looked to be taking a turn for the worst as Ms. Young unexpectedly went into labor at only 32 weeks last Thursday and was forced to have an emergency cesarean. The couple refused to terminate their unborn twins despite being warned by doctors of the medical and social problems the girl were likely to suffer. Channel 9 were given the honor of choosing the middle names of the newborns, picking Daisy for Faith and Alice for Hope. The twin girls were not breathing in the first few moments after their birth, leaving their parents in a state of great anxiety. But despite problems from the first moments of their birth in which Faith and Hope were not heard to be breathing, despite having a clear, singular heartbeat, the girls have now defied all odds and are currently in a stable state and breathing without any assistance. Although the couple were aware from the early stages of pregnancy that their children would have great developmental problems, they explained that while the girls continued to grow healthily, they couldn't come to terms with letting their unborn twins go. We sort of looked at it as it would be the same as being a child with autism or Down syndrome. I sort of don't believe in terminating the baby if it's healthy and growing fine and everything is going to plan, Mr. Howe said. The proud parents of the small survivors have braced themselves for a difficult path ahead and refused to say goodbye prematurely. I would say if I only get 2 days with the baby, I get 2 days with the baby. At least I have some time with it, Ms. Young said. The conjoined twins share all the major organs apart from their brains. It was at 19 weeks into her pregnancy that Miss Young became aware that her unborn babies were conjoined. Indian villagers that tall-faced twins are gods. Ask anyone along the dusty, pothole-filled road ahead to the tiny village of Sain that they'll know who she is. The one with 4 eyes, the one with 2 mouths, the one with 2 heads. They're not ashamed of the extraordinary-looking little girl. The villagers who live near her, the young parents, the overprotective local doctor. That's because, while she may only be 2.5 weeks old, she is far more famous than any resident of this part of the country has ever been. She is famous because she was born with a condition known as facial duplication. She has 1 body and 2 faces. At first, I was a little bit afraid, Benad Kumar Singh, the 24-year-old father of the girl who still does not have a name, told ABC News. But then I accepted whatever God gives. In this case, God has given what many in this rural part of India consider a reincarnation of Ganesh, the Hindu god who is half person and half elephant. At first, hundreds of locals came to Saini to touch the girl's feet, dance at her bedside, and offer the family money, thinking she was a divine person as they would ever see. People from corner to corner, from all India and all abroad, came here to take the knowledge about this child, said Hirash Nasan, the village math teacher. It is a gift of God. Some people say she is like a goddess. They call the baby a face of a goddess. Her 2 faces and the single dimple on their shared cheek are as placid as any baby's. She is the first child of a farming family, one of about 100 people living in a village 40 miles outside New Delhi. Here, the average income is less than $2 a day, and the locals either work the field or support those who work the field in any way they can. During a recent visit by ABC News, villagers fanned the baby, swatting dozens of flies away so she could sleep. The village, like so many in India, is modest. There's no electricity, there are no toilets, and there is no technology. The parents did not know that anything was wrong with their daughter until she was born. Tens of millions of pregnant women in rural India do not receive prenatal care. They're not aware enough that they should come in for treatment, said Dr. M. Amishad, the resident medical officer of nearby Safety Hospital where the girl was born. Amishad was part of the team that delivered her vaginally. Still, he does not know the details of the baby's condition because the parents have not agreed to let the hospital perform a CT scan or an MRI on her head. I've told them we're ready to do the CT scan for free, but they've ignored me, he told ABC News. Experts in the United States who have performed surgeries on children with similar conditions say they can't know what the baby's prognosis will be without scans.